is Sunday night again, and it is the late show with Curtain Call, and just Glenn this week. And it's a very exciting Sunday. Erik is taking the night off. He had a very successful Master of the House on Saturday night. To my understanding, some of his students who have been coached by our good friend Christian Escobar, they took first place in Master of the House and won themselves a nice little scholarship. Maggie Wheeler's been there for the last couple of days, and I think today they were doing a whole bunch of workshops. Maggie Wheeler, Janice from Friends, oh my God, that actress who's been wonderful working with Erik and his students at Faith Lutheran. She's been in town a few different times working with them and was a special guest and possibly even a judge this past weekend. But we have a couple of guests in the studio, and it's possible Sean will show up after his Tournament of Kings. I'm not sure if he's playing, Arthur tonight or, whatever he's playing. But I've got two individuals here representing the upcoming benefit performance for Golden Rainbow, the production of Pippin, yet another ragtag production, if I'm not mistaken. Partial.
Of RagTag and SVC Theater.
Oh, fantastic. That was Rick Wade, who I didn't have the microphone. I was expecting the boom mic, and so I didn't have Rick Wade on. And Bliss, your last name again?
Ragsdale.
Ragsdale.
Yep.
Assistant director for the production of Pippin. Toby
Romzek.
Romzek is destroying it all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
And Bliss is taking care of everything else.
I'm in charge of blowing. I'm in charge of blowing things up.
Fantastic. Now, you guys, this is a two-night performance. Going to be happening 12th and 13th?
12th and 13th at Shane O'Neill Productions, which is 4970 Arville, Suite 100, very close to the Orleans.
Oh, okay.
The other side of the street from the Orleans. And it's 8 o'clock both nights. I believe...
Tickets are $15.
I believe they're 15. If you have a group of 10 or more, it's 10.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, this is supporting Golden Rainbow, and RagTag has been a part of, has done a number of shows over the past few years to support Golden Rainbow. And I've had the pleasure of working with SVCT, doing Biloxi Blues last November, and then Rick and I have done a couple of other shows interspersed in there. But Bliss is the first time getting to meet you, and I'll take a wild shot in the dark. Your parents were of the 60s generation, and
oddly enough, no.
No.
Right-wing Republicans from the cowboy state.
How do you end up with a name like Bliss?
That's a family name.
Seriously?
Yeah, actually, my uncle is also named Bliss, and we're both named after the same person. His grandfather, my great-grandfather. Yeah, so.
Fantastic. Well, they're...
Try to live up to it as much as I can.
Well, I would certainly hope so. And again, I love unique names. But I'm sorry, I made the assumption.
Oh, that's
why
all right.
we have a bell.
Everyone does. Everyone does.
So let's talk a little bit about this production. I'm vaguely familiar with Pippin. I know that it centers around some historical characters, but kind of not necessarily in a realistic,
but not in a necessarily historic way. Yeah.
And then it gets all Fosse-esque and sexy.
Yes. Except we're lucky actually. We were doing they just recently re-released what is actually the original version of the show, which was changed when Bob Fosse produced it. It has a slightly different ending. The first act ends a little differently as well. It's a slightly darker. And then in particular, Toby's vision and our particular production is a lot less 70s than the Fosse version. There's still
is the music have that kind of 70s? It's
well, it's Steven Schwartz all the way.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Okay.
So it's very. He's got a nice way, I think, of adapting music from his time and turning it into a musical fare.
Okay.
So it is. There's I think there's a song that kind of sounds like a Beatles song. There's a song that sounds kind of like a Doors tune.
I would agree to that.
Yeah. So it's got that essence to it, but it's also sort of stripped down smaller band.
No wah pedal,
Now,
no
now,
tambourine.
now, do you have a live band?
We do.
Yes.
And Rick, I presume you're playing in it?
I am. I'm playing guitar in it, and I'm doing musical direction for the band, and Alana Gallo is doing musical direction for the singers.
Okay.
So we've got depending on the day, 4 or 5 piece band.
Oh,
So
very good.
drums, 2 keyboards, bass, and guitar.
And the show itself, Ben Vereen, I think, won the
Was
Tony
it-
way back when.
Yeah, way back when. And actually, William Catt, the greatest American superhero, was.
Please, you've got me entranced.
he wasn't the original
He-
Pippin,
he-
but he was the second Pippin, I believe.
Okay,
yeah.
well, he was also the backup to Mark Hamill if he hadn't made
Oh.
Luke Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
And William Catt's screen tests are out there. Totally derailed conversation, and I've got no one to bring me back on. I'm
I
having
think
to,
you railed the conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
But coming back to Pippin, what most people are probably familiar with is the watered down version, the cutesy.
Right.
Oh,
Mhm.
let's
Mhm. And some of it is there. I mean, like you said, the sexy part is undeniable in the entire show. It's a very, the whole show is about, this cult mentality and the bringing in of somebody and convincing them to do something that they shouldn't. And it's this whole story of a young man who wants to discover his life and he doesn't know what he's doing, and so he tries all these things, and all around him are these people who are trying to push him in this self-destructive direction, and he goes away from them and he comes back to them, and so it's got all of that, but it also has, from what people are most used to, it has that sexy, it's a dance show. There's a lot of wild characters, and we've taken a lot of that stuff even a step further by attaching this sort of 30s circus carnival feel to it.
Okay.
We've got Siamese twins playing one part. We've got a bearded lady.
I'm guessing that's Wendy and Olga.
Yeah,
It's Wendy
playing the
and Olga's
Berthas.
birthday.
Yeah. So everything has this nice, this feel to it that's very different from what, the Ben Vereen production was like. But at the same time, the general gists of the show are all still, people will recognize that if they're familiar with the show.
Okay.
Musically, obviously, it's the same show practically.
Okay.
But I think we've definitely picked up the torch of sexy and gone as far in one direction with that way as we can. So in that realm, it's similar. But
Yeah, we have stripper poles
Yeah.
on stage, which were donated by Pole Fitness Studio,
Yeah.
who offers private lessons and things like that.
It's fantastic. The Curtain Call has never been sponsored by pole dancers or pole exercise artists or anything. I'm Polish. That's about as close as it's ever come before. So.
Well, now's your chance.
Yeah. In a large cast, I'm presuming.
I would say a cast of about 20,
15
22,
to 20, something like that, somewhere in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's about 10 principals and then about an equivalent amount of ensemble people as well. So,
Fantastic.
yeah, and Gus Langley is Charlemagne, and Carolyn Figgs is leading player. Josh Keating is doing Pippin, he's a singer that's done, he worked in Branson for a while.
Okay.
But
I've heard the name.
Yeah. And I think this might be his first play.
Okay.
I seem to recall hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Tucker is Lewis, Tracy Blackwell is Fastrada. So it's a lot of familiar names for people, and just a lot of talent in the show.
Good, solid cast. And again, this is going to be Friday, April 12th, and Saturday, April 13th. And again, the location.
Shane O'Neill Productions.
Shane O'Neill Productions.
At
Okay.
4970 Arville, basically across from the Orleans.
Okay.
So.
And again, this is a benefit for Golden Rainbow, co-produced by SVCT, South Valley Community Theater, and the omnipresent RagTag Productions. And I give RagTag, a hard time, but I've done a number of shows with them. Just did Guys and Dolls with them a couple of weeks ago, and enjoyed that immensely. Of course, Andrew's pre-show toasts didn't hurt either.
I wasn't even in that show, and I was invited to go backstage.
Were you really?
Yes, I was.
You should have come back. You could have stood where Elvis stood, where we were
Yeah.
all standing. But it was a fun show, and that was again another benefit which I'm always happy to take part in. And again, we're talking with Bliss Ragsdale and Rick Wade, part of the production and musical team of the upcoming production of Pippin. I just got a text from Sean. He's on his way, and Sean is usually good about keeping me on track and keeping the conversation relevant.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, I'm certainly capable of randomly typing a word into Google and then beginning a conversation on said topic, which I think happened a few weeks ago when David McKee was here. I think they got off on a wild tangent, and I don't remember what they were talking about. But you can certainly go back there, back through our archives. All of our shows are videotaped, at least most of the time. So there we go. If you're watching.
So go back and watch for tangents.
It happens. And of course, if you're listening live right now, we appreciate it, or I appreciate it since I'm here, and Chris, our engineer, appreciates it because he loves sitting here late Sunday nights. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, we have our archives up on YouTube. I try to get up the episodes as quickly as possible while I'm doing my regular day's work. But you can pick up past episodes and like us on Facebook. And if you're interested in being on the show, by all means, let us know because there are certainly a lot of shows coming up in Las Vegas. Super Summer Theater is just had its first round of auditions. Next ones are next week, and then LBLT's got their summer musical, and then everything just kind of hits the fan all at once. So great shows this summer. Music Man, How to Succeed in Business, Legally Blonde, The Producers. LBLT's doing Xanadu.
I heard a rumor that Young Frankenstein is coming up in October.
That is a rumor.
Sorry.
There's a number of rumors. Table 8, Troy Hurd's production is going to be doing Bloody Andrew Jackson coming up in September. I believe Signature Productions is doing Scarlet Pimpernel. So Young Frankenstein, I've heard that as well. I've even heard what next summer's Super Summer is going to be. So, but I can't divulge that. Now it hasn't been announced, so I can't divulge, and I shouldn't know anyways, because I'm not involved in any way, shape whatsoever. I'm just a nosy, and that's how life goes. Now, if people are interested in getting tickets ahead of time for Pippin, how can they go about doing that?
They can go to. We have a Facebook page for the show, and it has a link to it. Also, you can go to.
Is the Facebook page under Pippin, or is it under SVCT, or?
I
know they can find it under RagTag.
Yeah, I think it might be Pippin, a benefit for Golden Rainbow.
Okay.
Maybe is what it's called.
Yeah,
it's a public event.
Yeah, it's a public event, and then it's also on the Facebook pages for RagTag and for SVC.
Okay.
And then there is. It'll take me a second to pull up the website here for it, but so talk amongst yourselves.
Oh well.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Johnny was trapped underneath the horse, while Mary was shoveling hay.
Which is almost the same as Scene 5 from Pippin. No, that's not true.
Not true? Oh, you're cutting that scene? You're cutting the
horse scene is
the
out.
horse scene is cut. Well, that
and on a slight segue, we do recommend that this play is recommended for audiences over the age of 18.
And that's what I was going to ask, because this isn't your traditional high school production of Pippin.
Definitely not.
This is with the adult content put right back in.
Put right back in, yeah. There's some dancing, maybe a little skin. There's definitely some frolicking, I believe they refer to it in the script. And then, of course, the random explosion, I think.
The random explosion of skin, or the random explosion of dancers?
Well, it's random. Who knows?
Yes,
Yeah.
all of the above. Yeah.
Very
And maybe a little fire.
That was a quiz.
And maybe a little fire as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great show for a lot of pyro.
I saw the cage, and I think my comment was balls! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Because that it is like that's a huge thing. Hopefully it's. Are you guys already in the space? Because my mind goes crazy. It's like that's a huge cage. I hope they figured out how to get it out of the space where it's being built.
Well, it actually, I don't know if I should say this or not, but it came from the space where we're doing the show.
Oh,
So
right,
it's
yeah.
sort of like,
We were just like,
well,
yeah.
let's use that.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We just got in the space. I think today was the
Today
first
was the
day.
first
yeah.
day.
Now, you're doing kind of a carnival-esque, so there's a big tent,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken.
Circus tent.
Yep, a little
Circus
circus tent
Okay.
held up by stripper poles.
And the website to buy tickets
There we
is
go.
Pippin SVC Theater, that's theater with an R-E, .eventbrite, BRITE.com.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah, we should probably add some more words to that.
Is it Pippin dot or Pippin
Pippin SVC Theater,
SVCTheatre?
.eventbrite, BRITE.com.
That is certainly where it is. And tickets are available at the door as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And again, this is going to take place at Shane O'Neill Studio, 4970 Arville, Suite 100. And that's right between Decatur and, well, right off of Arville. I can read Google Maps.
This guy's good.
You know what? I'm much better when I sit in the corner and I can just control the cameras and I can make my smart comments to where Erik shakes his head and rings the bell, and then Sean comes in with something clever and poignant and educated, and I go back to fart humor. But as it is, no. Speaking of fart humor, it is the lovely Sean Critchfield and Kaj. Welcome, Master of the House T-shirt and all. You know, let's take a quick little break, and we'll get Michael and Sean situated, and we'll come back and talk with Rick and Bliss and more Pippin and sex and things theater related. So you're listening to Curtain Call.
This is Maggie Wheeler, Janice from TV's Friends, and oh my God, you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
A word from the cast of Hot in Cleveland.
Want to hear a joke?
Yeah, sure.
What's the #1 killer of women?
Well, you're still here, so that rules out crankiness. And tracksuits.
Heart disease.
But that's a joke?
Oh, no, it's an absolute fact, but the American Heart Association says you can save lives by passing it along to 5 women you love.
Aww.
So I'm starting with 3 I tolerate. That's a joke.
Find out more at goredforwomen.org.
With the home foreclosure crisis upon us, vacant properties and deserted houses are changing the landscape of our neighborhoods. These deserted houses attract vandals, thieves, and con artists. In times like these, keeping your neighborhood safe is more important than ever. When foreclosures rise, so can crime. Uncut lawns, trash, and empty driveways are open invitations for crime. Empty homes make perfect locations for drug dealers. Squatters find vacant houses, move in, and take over. Teenagers use abandoned homes for parties and to vandalize. To combat these new threats, urge your community association to work with local police to patrol vacant homes. Contact your city, county, or housing authority to cut overgrown lawns and pick up trash. Report broken windows and doors to the police and educate your child that it is not okay to go into an abandoned house. To learn more about protecting your neighborhood, visit ncpc.org or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Welcome to the world of Evolved Novelties, a line of products that are as aesthetically pleasing as they are physically satisfying. With the soft and delicate contours of a woman's body as inspiration, we designed every product to assure maximum gratification for you and your partner. Evolved Novelties are available at Deja Vu Adult Emporium, located right across the street from the Orleans Hotel and Casino.
Don't forget to mention the Los Angeles Dodgers, Dallas Cowboys, or the Los Angeles Clippers, and you will receive a 25% discount. That's Deja Vu Adult Emporium, located on the corner of Tropicana and Arville.
You're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball. This is David Loud saying hello from Broadway.
All right. Well, I appreciate Sean, you coming in after
Yeah.
the tournament tonight?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Poker Tournament of Kings this
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Well,
It's
there's a
strip poker
celebrity
tournament of Kings.
celebrity tournament this weekend, and my friend Terrence Williams and Matt Donnelly were hosting. So I have some secrets about that, which I'm sure Terrence does not want me to share. But it is interesting how celebrity poker tournaments for charity, how the casinos can still control stuff.
Yes.
So,
So I gotta say that I was listening in on the way over, and
wow.
I directed Rick Wade in Assassins, along with Glenn here. And what was really funny about that process, and Koch, yeah, that's right. It's like a reunion, and but in particular with Rick, his son had gotten cast. And he was attending rehearsals on behalf of his son, and we kept making him play games. And next thing I know, I sneakily added him to the cast. I felt like Indiana Jones. It was just like he was like the golden idol head.
And can anyone in the room remember the catchphrase for Mr.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rick Wade. Yep. Every time we saw him, that was how we introduced him. So I do have a question,
There was also
Pippin.
Beef.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about beef.
Yeah. And
I heard the president's favorite food is beef.
That was my
I do
one
have a
line.
Pippin question for you guys, though. As I was listening in, I wanted to know: are you going to hand out like the raincoats or the trash bags for the first two rows because of the exploding dancers?
Nope, it's all Viscera all night.
Nice.
Gallagher is playing.
All I could imagine when you said exploding dancers was just the dancers on the front. Be amazing.
Well, I want to not to detract from Pippin, but because you're our guest this evening, and we certainly don't want to waste your time. But Erik has been putting a lot of time and effort into Master of the House, and Michael, you were there doing photography. I'm still waiting on next normal pics, but whatever.
I'm still waiting.
Steve Huntsman.
I'm still waiting on Assassin's pics.
I have no comment over that one.
Good friend Steve Huntsman, directing Music Man out at Super Summer Theater. He is very busy right now, working on his current production. So, but how did Master of the House go? We were talking a little bit during the break, and obviously, if you're watching this archive on YouTube in the future, you already know the answer to the questions.
Master of the House was amazing. Like, there was 5 main groups, all either from performing arts schools or from high schools around the city, and it was each of them had like about 10 to 12 minutes to do a specific show, and they were all adjudicated by 5 judges all throughout there was Isla Evans, I can't remember, one of the ladies from the Smith Center was there.
The Vice President of Education at the Smith Center.
Vice President of Education at the Smith Center was there.
Chapman,
Tim Bennett,
who was on the show.
He's currently directing Urinetown for Nevada Conservatory over at UNLV.
And was on the show last week.
It was on the show last week.
Yes.
And then Chapman, Mark
David Chapman.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Music lover.
So yeah.
Too soon? Sorry.
So
that would actually have been very interesting.
Yeah.
if you don't know your history, folks, it really wasn't Mark David Chapman.
No, it wasn't.
No.
I'm trying to remember. Hold on. I will see if I can find out who it was. But it's Chapman. It's Chapman. I know that. So we can come back to it.
Yeah, okay.
It was amazing. It truly was. The talent level was just remarkable. Just to watch these kids and to see theater that honestly could stack up against any regional theater on the West Coast was really incredible. And and it was really nice that they really kept this great consolidated feel of partnership, even though it was a competition. And the kids were all, of course they screamed a little louder for their school. Sure. There was a nature of competition to it, which was important, but they also were very generous. The whole crowd was a very generous crowd the entire time. And Maggie Wheeler was just a delight. Cheryl Rudiger was amazing.
Oh, we love her.
Yeah, she's and Erik, he just like, man, that guy knows his type, and he just got up there and he was just the most adorable nerdy goofball you could ever imagine, and the whole show was really, really well done. Of course, it was the first one, and and it had its hiccups and it had its moments where.
Well, it's live theater, and you can't plan or predict everything that's going to happen.
But they're definitely starting a brilliant precedent.
Absolutely, and there was already
next year,
based on a number of conversations that we had here on the show. Obviously, certain schools in the area like we've got. Festival, and we've got this, and it's like, well, so let's coordinate a better time so that, because I don't think the Meadows had any entries this year.
No, they had prior engagements.
Yeah, and that school has a ton of talent as well, and so I'm glad that there was the representation that was there. But next year,
But it definitely has established that this is going to be a tradition,
Well, I saw billboards around the town.
And and I don't want to take anything away from it when I say that it definitely had its things that it needs to smooth out. But it was fun because you could see like where they're going to look at it and go, okay, this needs to tighten next year. But you could see this beautiful foundation that was laid. And I think my hope, and I know that there's talk of this, is that they're going to put it out to the other schools, that it can be hosted at other schools, so that it can be this traveling show. And I just think that it's really smart. And it's really something very, very good. And I think that more than it just being bragging rights, that the fact that there is a scholarship prize coming back to the schools is just first rate.
Well, and the nice thing about it, and maybe this won't be seen for maybe a couple years down the road, but you do something like this with the younger actors in town. At some point, they're going to be us, and there's going to be a much more no, not Rick. No one can be Rick.
You guys should know. You guys should.
We'd ask Rick to stand up, but he'd be out of frame. But what is being sown right now are the seeds of Vegas theater in the future, and the talent that is out there right now. If you haven't seen Faith Lutheran's productions or any of the Meadows School productions, and not to discredit any of the other high school productions. But there is a lot of young talent in this town. I don't even know where your son David's going.
He goes to K.O. Knudsen.
Okay, there you go. So there's talent there too. I think I've done more shows with your son than you.
That's probably true.
He was with Guys and Dolls as well.
Well, I retire after every show. That's
true.
Yeah.
That's true. Just like The Godfather, we just keep pulling you back in.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm looking forward to the continued success of Master of the House, and certainly to see where these young performers go, because I know that the skills that they're learning right now will serve them well if they want to pursue theater in Vegas, because there is tons of it. But to see them go forward and hopefully see them on stage.
Absolutely.
Else, so.
I know that Eric was even talking about one of the other groups. They're actually going to be making another competition. I think it was later this year, or sometime next year, where it's going to be. It's called Below the Belt. And it's going to be above the belt.
Above the belt.
Above the belt, where it's going to be like a singing. It's basically going to be like an American Idol for the Las Vegas community, for anywhere from ages 18 and younger. But it's going to be like an American Idol type of a competition where they have money for scholarships as well.
And it's really fun because Master of the House is an ensemble-based group effort, and this is individual performance. And I know that the hope is going to be to not have that hosted at any school, so that it's going to be, neutral ground, so no one has house advantage,
Well, that's very cool. If they can bring something like
perhaps Thomas and Mac.
What was the one that Ed McMahon hosted for years? Star Search.
Star Search.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was that funniest blooper show.
Yeah, that was Dick Clark. That was Dick Clark. Well, if you're just tuning in, we've been talking, most recently with Michael Close and Sean Critchfield with Master of the House, that we've been talking about for months here on this program, that has been the brainchild of Erik Ball and Cheryl Rudiger with the Rudy Foundation. And
finally, we can stop talking about it in the show.
You know what? I enjoy talking about Cheryl, so we'll continue to do that. But in our studio, talking... good Lord, what did the two of you do? I've got this on camera, and you two are like looking at each other. What
Paying
does
no
my shirt
attention
say?
to the people.
Dude,
No, I
what
was
does your
hoping.
shirt
I was
say?
hoping the judges were going to be on the back of the T-shirt, and they were not.
Okay.
I thought you were checking for ticks.
I just saw the whole dude,
Wouldn't
where's
surprise
my
me.
car thing. You guys checking
What
out
does
your
mine say?
Yeah.
Dude.
Wow. So we've got Rick Wade and Bliss Ragsdale.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rick
Bliss
Wade.
Ragsdale. Oh.
Beef
Bliss
Wade.
Beef Wade.
They're here, and we're talking previously, but we'll get back to it in a moment because I'm sure Michael and Sean have some more interesting questions than I've posed up to this point. But they're here talking about the production of Pippin, Golden Rainbow Benefit Show, Friday, April 12th and Saturday, April 13th, 8 p.m. at the Shane O'Neill Studio, 4970 Arville, Suite 100. This is a joint production with SVC Theater, South Valley Community Theater, and Ragtag Entertainment. And this is going old school Pippin with more of the adult, well, all the adult themes, I guess, thrown back in, not just most of them.
Yeah. With this production, I was curious as I was listening. I know that sometimes there's a million ways to approach this show, which is one of the things that keeps it so timeless. I saw it done in where the whole thing was done as corporate America, which was really interesting. I don't necessarily know if I feel that it worked, but it was interesting and good on the director for doing it, but there's oftentimes they play this notion of good versus evil, where they get as deliberate as the player being the devil, are you guys, is it spectacle? Are you guys trying, are we there to see a show and enjoy it and tap our feet? Or are we there to get a message?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the message.
Yeah.
Tap your feet.
Tap, yeah. In some ways, yes. One thing that I think is very different in ours is it's not good versus evil at all. It's much more about the cult mentality. I was lucky enough, I worked a show a gazillion years ago with on a guy who was an original member of Bob Fosse's company. He was in the original production, and he alluded to me, some of which I kind of got from the show, but he put the name right on it, is there's a lot of allusions when they first created the show to the Manson family. And this idea of that, how can you convince someone to do these horrible things? And, and that's sort of what the whole show of Pippin is there's this guy he's just looking for a meaning in his life, and all of these people come around him, and they just get him to try to get him to do all of these things, whether they're good, bad, whatever. And then the ultimate goal is self-destruction. But I don't think ever actually in the creative process that we've worked so far has the idea of evil ever even been introduced.
That's great.
Other than the fact that it's in us as people. It's very much I definitely to again say this, that mob mentality, this idea that you just by being around people you can get so excited about something that could be so wrong that even still you go ahead and do it, even fully knowing that it's wrong or it's
and
against
very
your
poignant and
morals.
relevant to the day, to the current
I think that's one reason why
climate.
Schwartz pushed so hard to get this version of the script back, I think, is because it's a little more relevant and a little less glitzy Broadway.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And very, very important for me is the line, get your damn hands off the piano. Is it still in there?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yes. And actually, right
As
before
opposed
that...
to get your damn hands off her bib.
Yeah.
Those lines are all out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
But the one that I said is in, right?
Is in, yeah.
Okay, good. Because if the other were in it, if the other,
The Pippin of the Apes.
Yeah.
Pippin of the Apes.
Future.
Charlton Heston playing leading player.
Wow, that'd be like a 4-hour Pippin.
With guns.
Guns, yeah.
Lots of guns.
Actually, I think one of the lines that sums up the whole show is right before that, when leading player says to the audience, "We're right there in your minds." Yeah, and I think this whole show it really weighs heavily on this idea of a charismatic human being being able to convince other people to do horrible things, or nice things, depending on which scene you're in Pippin.
Yeah.
Some of the scenes are nice, but Most of it ends up in some sort of tragedy. And once again, it plays that nice line of, a human being's search for themselves. We all want to be somebody. We all want to be extraordinary. I want to live my life as someone who, with nothing but superlatives. Sorry, Slate. I've been awake for 3 days now.
I hear you. I relate.
Yeah. But, and it really plays on those two ideas mingling and clashing with each other. And, and there's a small amount of, like he was asking, it's been taped on these historical characters who have very... other than just being Charlemagne and Pippin, have very little relationship to the actual historical figures, other than in name and how it creates the scene. It's much more this band of players concept, and Pippin comes in as like a new player, and they try to get him to do all these things, and and then we just surround it. However, it does have quite a bit of spectacle. Nice. As a show, it just sort of requires it. It's all about fire. We're going to use a lot of, maybe not a lot might be overselling it, but there's definitely going to be a sizable amount of pyrotechnics. There's fire, there's smoke.
So is it? I mean, I don't need a spoiler. So if I start asking questions that are like, you're going to take away the fun, just tell me to shut up, because that's what Glenn does. Is this like a roaming troupe? Is that where the circus theme comes in?
Right. Kind of like what you'd in the old days, like in the 20s and 30s, the carnivals that would drive around, and cruise.
The red line and the green line.
Yeah,
and the days of Ward Hall, the Great American Showman.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's right in the wheelhouse, Sean.
That's right. That's right. This is right in my wheelhouse. Yeah.
We even discussed a little, like, where are they in the world at the time? And
that's fantastic.
Because I'm like the guest guy coming in, like we talked about, of being in the middle of Wyoming, and where it's just this, everything's so foreign and everything's so different, and all these players know is what they do. So they come right in, and the show, even pre-show, will have that sort of feeling that you're coming into this sort of circus tent.
Is there some audience interaction then, or I mean, the audience
pre-shows?
You'll forgive me because I don't know enough about Pippin, but
maybe we'll forgive you, forgiven. And maybe we won't.
That's fine. But is the story a series of vignettes, as it were, or is there a fluid? Because I've only listened to the music a few times.
In some ways, it's a series. It's not vignettes is a little. It's not quite that episodic.
Okay.
The idea is that Pippin. He goes through these stages of life. He first searches for meaning in all these places. He goes to war, he discovers love, he discovers happiness, he discovers family, he discovers the end of the play, which I won't give away.
Mysterious box.
But there's fire. There is fire. So in that, there are scenes and in different episodes, but it's not really episodic, because between each thing, Pippin and lead player come together and discuss sort of the journey, and lead player tries to continue to push Pippin in the direction that she wants him to go. Yeah, we have a female leading player, which
That's
I think
fantastic.
I've done this show twice before as an actor and a director, and that is one thing I've always wanted to do, is have a female leading player, and it's really exciting, and she is great.
And that has been done before.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Carolyn Figs.
Nice.
So she's like a 6 foot tall German.
Nice. Nice. You take your damn hands off the piano.
Yes.
Okay. So getting back into it, I just was curious. Like, I think that it's fascinating, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm known as being a relatively daring director, but I'm also very conservative, in the sense that I don't utilize things that I don't think push plot forward. And in fact, a lot of times I question a lot of. There's been this movement recently in theater with like a Killer Joe as a prime example, where I feel there's an entire scene in that is strictly like, we're going to make a woman fillet a chicken bone because we can get away with it.
Right.
And I don't feel that it really establishes anything about character or pushes anything forward. I think otherwise the play is great. I'm not bad-mouthing the play at all. I just don't like that scene. And as a director, I'm never one for be like, let's wrap them all in cellophane. Yeah, you know. And so my question, what I'm getting to is the sex because obviously this is going to be a very sexy show.
Yes.
Is it devicey? Is it like is the sex are you utilizing it in a way like to tempt him? Or
well, the script practically demands it.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, so it has a lot to do with that, tempting him. Some of it is part of the carnival aspect.
Beautiful. So it's all purposeful.
Yeah, it's all very
excited
purposeful.
to see that. I don't want to know any more than that. Like,
yeah.
If you want to talk about it, please continue. But that's you know, because now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, how are they going to use it? You know what I mean? And that's awesome.
Well,
yeah, I love that.
I don't think the story it's not gratuitous, or is it? Okay. Well, if you,
I'm gonna go 50-50 on
okay.
that
Well,
one.
no. But that's.
But even the gratuity is included. No, but even it being gratuitous is
most of it though.
Like that?
Most of it though is most of the stuff like that is obviously interpreted through dance.
Okay.
Sure.
You know, so it's very stylized and very artistic, but still very sexy and very and some of it is, you know, we're pushing dirty. You know, there's some of that going on. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, I forgot the tent is being held up by stripper poles.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'd say a lot of the
tent is being. Sorry. Okay, I'm stopping right there. No more. It's radio. It's right here.
A lot of the more sensual elements, I think, are
sensual.
I'm trying
or
to.
central.
I heard this was a classy show.
No. I'm just clarifying. Did you say some of these sensual elements or some of these central elements?
Sensual.
Okay.
Some of the sexy stuff is it pushes on the edge of cartoony almost. It's like that sort of it's cheeky things, and a lot of it is outright sexy, but a lot of it is
tongue in cheek.
Is tongue in cheek and
tongue in cheeky.
But like, you know,
but not in a dirty way.
I wouldn't say silly,
no.
But like, you know, it's kind of light and fun. Like, you're not going to watch it and go, ooh, I feel a little bit dirty.
You know, a lot of it is a character,
but in a bad way. Yeah. So.
Nice.
Well, very good. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading some stuff here so that I can refresh to our listening audience. We're talking with Bliss Ragsdale and Rick Wade.
On a little bit of a side note there, since
I was just going to plug the show again, but go ahead.
No, do it. Plug the show. Plug the show. And then I'll segue. Then I'll segue.
Pippin the Musical, April 12th and 13th at the Shane O'Neill Studio Theater, 4970 Arville, Suite 100. Tickets are $15. You can get them at the door or online. Get your pencils ready. Pippin, SVC Theater with an RE .eventbrite, spelled BRITE.com. I'm going to throw a link up on our Facebook page right now. Because I have the ability to do so, even though I can't do the camera and talk and type and do all that fun stuff. Why are you looking at the camera? I can't see what's going on, Sean. That's the other one. That's them. This one's you. And so if you hide in the corner again, they can't see you. And then the one up there.
Wait, can we go to the camera so that I can hide for the camera?
Yes. This is what they see. Ooh.
Radio at its finest.
Actually, Sean, why don't you go downstairs for me?
That bit was good enough for radio.
So you can call 702-481-6919 for details. There are group discounts available. This is a benefit for... Is that your personal cell phone number, Rick?
No, that's actually my wife's personal cell phone.
Well, you have...
Smart man.
You have it up on the web, so it's free for everyone
well played indeed, sir.
And by all means, it's, 10:45.
Yeah, she's awake.
This show is recommended for viewers 18 and older.
Awesome.
Benefiting Golden Rainbow, it's a local organization providing housing for individuals and families living with HIV/AIDS. And kudos again to... Kudos. No, the benefit is awesome.
No, I said that was awesomer.
Oh, okay.
But nobody likes AIDS.
No.
AIDS.
Benefit for a Golden Rainbow by South Valley Community Theater and RagTag. And RagTag's been doing benefits for Golden Rainbow for a few years. And I'm just gonna,
Eric takes the night off, and we lose listening audience by the thousands.
Well, I'm trying to be the mature one, and it just doesn't seem to want to work at all.
And I commend you on it.
Well,
okay, so just in my to segue you, I did. Let's give some love to our Love Taps fellas out there.
Oh, please.
And I did the podcast today. So if you guys don't know, check out lvtaps.com and listen to this podcast. It's a similar format to what we do here, except there's no censorship. Hi. There's no censorship, and you know, and so they're allowed to say other words. And no, it's a fun show. But the point is that I did it today, and I got to hear Rick Wade do a review of Dick Johnson Private Eye.
Oh, you were. So you did their show.
I was there when he recorded it.
He recorded it.
You were there this morning. Fantastic.
No, he recorded it and sent it in, and they played the recording, and it was hysterical. It was quality humor.
I didn't even know if they used it or
not.
Oh yeah,
funnier than the actual show.
Oh, it's on. Huh?
Why are you gonna put? I love you guys.
Oh,
I love you.
I did Love Taps last week, and since all 4 of those people are in Dick Johnson Private Eye, I jokingly said that I'd review it, and they were like, "That's a great idea." and we had rehearsal all day today, so I couldn't do the taping, so I just recorded at home this morning. So.
Now, was Chip Nash in the original last summer?
I'm afraid I don't know Chip Nash, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, Max and Lysander directed it, and Max was the titular character, and Ben was a number of different characters, and Carolyn played piano, and truthfully, that's all the people I know in it by name. There were a lot of faces I recognize, maybe you know.
Brown is in it. Anthony Barnaby. I call him both.
But it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
According to his review, he had very minor complaints. But my favorite part was the character voice that he used to intro himself. He did a character voice and introed himself, and that was just good fun.
Well, I'm typing in on Facebook right now for our listening audience. The information.
Well, I didn't know that was you doing it. I was like, what is he doing over there?
We have a voiceover that announces every key. W.
It's making me think of Galaxy Quest, where Sigourney Weaver.
All of a sudden, it was a speak and spell. That was amazing.
By Grabthaw's hammer, what a show!
Yeah, the ship speaks, and Sigourney Weaver's character has to repeat it.
My favorite moment in that whole thing was when he was like, I played Hamlet. Now look at me. Look at me. That was my favorite part of the whole thing. I do that periodically when I'm putting on my Tournament of Kings makeup. One of the actors will walk in and I'll be like, I played Macduff. Now look at me. Look at me.
I go through stores saying, I grabbed Thou's hammer. What a savings.
That is one of my favorite movies.
That's a good one.
Just to put on for no reason whatsoever.
So are there elements of Galaxy Quest in Pippin?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, especially in the makeup design, I think.
Oh, fantastic. Is there seriously, is there
they have a bunch of cephalopods.
you guys doing?
Actually, there's some wild makeup. Since we're doing this carnival thing, Ben, what's Ben's last name? Look on the thing. This great guy, Ben, he's in the cast, but he's also helping with all.
Ben Tucker.
Yeah, he's
little short guy,
great actor, Yeah. He's been helping us with all this makeup because, like I said, we're gonna have a tattooed lady. She's gonna be tattooed from head to toe.
I think he did some stuff for Evil Dead when he was in the show.
Yeah. Is that Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, that dude's got muscles in his ears.
Yeah, he's fun performer.
His muscles have muscles. Mm-hmm. Each pack of his six-pack has a six-pack.
Yeah. He was flexing his teeth.
That's right.
Yeah. It's worth it just to see Ben's costume. Actually.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
But yeah, we even have a lizard. There'll be a lizard man. Like I said, we have Siamese.
Is that where the doors come in?
Yeah, exactly. The Siamese twins. Just really exciting makeup design. Yeah.
Is there any deliberate allusion to since you had that theme in your head? Is there any deliberate allusion to the Manson family?
Not directly. No. Okay, more just in that.
Just kind of using that mentality.
Feeling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because honestly, without knowing that, without having that experience with my friend Fred, that feeling comes from the play, I think, when you read it, especially the version that has a little more of the dark stuff. But even the first version, I think if you can't grab that out of it, then whoever's doing it was being a little too cheesy. Yeah, if they're underplaying it too much.
And it's unfortunate that it's easy to do that.
Yeah, quite often. Yeah, like when you hear about, honestly, not to knock high school theaters or anything, I've seen some great high school productions in my life, but shows like that, sometimes, high schools want to do them for the name, there's great songs for their kids, good dance numbers, and it's just, it's just not a good idea.
I completely relate. I work for the Nevada Arts Council, and I go in and I do, I teach in the high schools for segments, and I find it very funny, like a lot of times exactly what you're saying. It's like people are like, Our Town is a horrible show. No, Our Town is a brilliant show.
That was written a million years ago.
Yeah,
it's done horribly,
and it's done.
Often.
Yeah, and so many high schools do it, thinking that and that is a beast of a show.
Right.
And if you're not willing to get your hands dirty into that nostalgic beast, you're dead in the water. But they're like, no set, let's do it. You know, which actually Meadows just did it. And it was really nice.
Episode?
Yes, they do.
Cameron
did Our Town. Yeah.
I've heard the new Broadway version that came out a year or two ago. It was really awesome.
Yeah, I heard that too. And Tim Burris just did it at the Meadows School, and he did it right. I watched it and really enjoyed it. And beyond that, I love too, just like what you're saying. It's like one of my favorites is we went into a school and I was like, we should. I really would like to do one of the heavier shows here, like Titus or something. And they're like, oh no. And this is at a school that at the time was really, really well known. This is Brandon McClanahan's alma mater. And it was ridiculous strong Shakespeare actors. They had a woman there who's their dramaturg, who, Rachel, and I'm going to forget her last name, but she could have worked.
A high school with a dramaturg? Wow.
Yes. No, their program was ridiculous.
I'm from the sticks.
Yeah, no, and that's rare even here. But she like this school, their Shakespeare program was ridiculous. Yeah. They had dedicated Shakespeare classes, and they had a dramaturg who could have worked at any Shakespeare festival in the country. She was ridiculous, and Rachel Burke had such respect for her, and so that gives you an idea of why I would dare to even bring up that title in a high school. And the principal was like, I don't know, that's a little heavy. Can we do Romeo and Juliet instead? And I was like, oh, so you want to do the one that's about teenage sex,
killing themselves,
and suicide, and gang violence, and families feuding. Yeah, we can do that. That's light.
Yeah.
We can definitely pull all the comedy out of that.
Yeah.
I prefer the comedies of Shakespeare, anyways. I don't know why.
No, I'm a big fan of the comedies.
They probably ended up,
I just didn't want to see that handful of that 5-show rotation that you see in high school.
Right.
And I was hoping to break out of it, especially with a group that was that talented. So I love the fact that you guys are taking it. Would you say you're milking more of the darkness and the sex? Milking the sex. Are you saying?
I'd say that's an accurate description.
Would you say that you're milking more of the darkness and the sex out of the script than exists? Are you being heavy-handed with that intentionally for your or do you feel
you're not inventing anything, just
and I don't think necessarily that that's a bad thing if that's what you're grasping onto in the script.
I'm not really sure,
because I don't know. I'm asking because I don't know this newer version.
Right. I'm not really sure either. Admittedly, because I'm more familiar with. I've done the show twice before, but it was with the old script and all that stuff. But I don't necessarily, from the darkness point of view, I don't think we're milking that much of the darkness. I think we're playing that, and we might be adding a little sex and stuff because it's Vegas, and maybe, and but
I think as long as it's purposeful, it's warranted.
But it definitely
don't know
is
this version versus the old.
Yeah,
one.
You're not throwing showgirls in there with headdresses simply because
no. But I think we decided let's ride that edge. Let's ride that edge of sexy and dark, and then we're just holding that edge as much as we can, and occasionally some actor will jump it, and we'll go, okay, the edge just moved.
Are you discovering things that the actors are bringing? And obviously that's kind of a very vague general question, but being that maybe the cast members weren't necessarily familiar with this version of it, were they bringing fresh interpretations?
Oh yes, I definitely think so. It is, and some cast members in particular are just they're just grabbing it and running with it. But overall, everyone I think is just it's such a different show, whether or not they've done Pippin before or are familiar with this old version or the new version or whatever. Just the whole aspect of it is different enough from what most people are used to, especially in musical theater. Like what I like to tell them is, this isn't Oklahoma. Not that Oklahoma's a horrible show, but
Yes,
it is. But it is. But this show.
You and I are kindred
Yeah,
spirits.
so, but this show, it's not just music. You can't just go out there and sing and dance. It's an acting show as much as it is a singing musical show. It's the character arcs, the depth of what's going on is so heavy that it has to be played with sincerity and depth.
Fantastic. We need to take a quick break so our engineer can change over some, audio tape, reel-to-reel thing that we got.
It's Scotch tape.
Yeah.
It's just
so our engineer Chris can take care of a few things in the back for us. But we are talking with Rick Wade and Bliss Ragsdale from the upcoming production of Pippin over at the Shane O'Neill studio on Friday, April 12th and Saturday, April 13th, benefiting Golden Rainbow. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come back and talk more stuff. This is Curtain Call with us. Yeah.
Curtain Call with beef.
Curtain sheath with beef. There you go. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Heidi Blickenstaff from Title of Show. You're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
Playbills and monkeys and monkeys and playbills and monkeys and playbills and monkeys and playbills and monkeys.
And the motion sensors around. Oh, it's a nightmare. Custom Hearth and Door is here to help. They are your one-stop shop for garage doors, garage door openers, and repairs. Great service deals all the time. Also, you can't beat Custom Hearth and Door and not do fireplaces, as they provide high-quality wood-burning and gas-fired fireplaces, fireplace inserts and stoves, chimney systems, and accessories. Custom Hearth features the best brand names in the business, including the LiftMaster garage door openers with their new keyless entry with fingerprint verification, plus products from Real Fire, Craftsman, Fire Magic, and Lennox. Call Custom Hearth and Door at 657-1280. That's 657-1280. Or visit them online at custom-hearth.com. That's custom-hearth.com.
At Sweet Tomatoes, we believe that eating fresh, healthy, wholesome food is an important part of leading a well-balanced life. Sweet Tomatoes food is fresh from the farm, to your fork, and made from scratch every single day. Treat yourself and your family to great-tasting recipes, fresh, seasonal vegetables, and tossed salads prepared every 20 minutes. Come dine with us and create a meal tailored to your specific needs. There are 4 Sweet Tomato locations in Las Vegas to serve you. Check out our full menu. Visit www.sweettomatoes.com. Open 7 days a week. See you at Sweet Tomatoes. Create a meal, indulge, and enjoy.
Are you sick and tired of your garage door going up but never coming down, or going down and coming back up on its own? The kids knocking the motion sensors around. Oh, it's a nightmare. Custom Hearth and Door is here to help. They are your one-stop shop for garage doors, garage door openers, and repairs. Great service deals all the time. Also, you can't beat Custom Hearth and Door and not do fireplaces, as they provide high-quality wood-burning and gas-fired fireplaces, fireplace inserts and stoves, chimney systems, and accessories. Custom Hearth features the best brand names in the business, including the LiftMaster garage door openers with their new keyless entry with fingerprint verification, plus products from Real Fire, Craftsman, Fire Magic, and Lennox. Call Custom Hearth and Door at 657-1280. That's 657-1280. Or visit them online at custom-hearth.com. That's custom-hearth.com.
Hi there, this is Rick Ellis, and you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
And we're back. It is now approaching midnight, and our guests are slowly changing. We've got Bliss, Ragsdale, and Rick Wade in the studio with us, talking. I just went into my, late night radio DJ voice.
Robert Holiday.
We're talking Pippin here, late night at KSH. Michael Close, thanks for joining us. I was hoping you got my message.
Pleasure. I just got it right when I got to the studio. I was like, oh, yeah, I can come hang out for a while.
Yeah, very cool.
I saw the Codge signal up. It's like a bowling ball with a couple of pins getting knocked down. I'm like,
oh, I have it upside down then.
Hey-o. Brilliant. I am needed.
No, we normally the only thing that's not fun about that is that we have this thing that we go to our man on the street, Codge, during the show. And we have Codge do little things like he has written a poem recently. He wrote a song about poop once and played the guitar and sang a song about poop.
Aww.
And sometimes we'll just be like, what's the weather like in Summerlin? He'll tell us, and then that's it.
It's going to rain. Thanks. It's going.
And so that's
it's wet. It's wet outside because it's raining.
Codge and I wrote a song together like a month or so ago.
I wanted to know if we could Spider in my room.
Yeah, that's right. Spider in my room. Yeah.
Win double plat.
That is the sound of the spider gonna die.
Where did you put that poem from last week?
I put it on Facebook.
Yes, I know, and
I gave it to Eric.
You put it on the book.
I gave it to Eric.
I'm hoping that catches on.
To the BBR as well.
Lovely guests.
Yes, yes. There was a whole lot of beautiful in this room, let me tell you. It was awesome. If you ladies are listening, a whole lot of beautiful.
You know, I have 3 lines of a poem that I just wrote during this show.
Oh, really?
Roses are red, flowers are blue, I'm on curtain call. That's all I got.
Nice. Keep working on it.
Yeah.
I saw one that was on the web. It was roses are gray, violets are gray. I'm a dog.
I like roses are red, violets are blue. Some poems rhyme. This one doesn't. All right,
is that where we are now?
That is what it's...
And we have derailed.
And we've derailed.
We did good. We made it a full hour.
Well, you know what? Usually the second hour becomes just that, kind of a free-for-all, because we've been talking Pippin, and I'm sure the conversation will veer back towards that, because that's why our guests have given up quality time with their beds to come spend some quality time.
Quality time
In the studio.
I'm actually sleeping in Rick's garage. So.
Oh, really?
I'm sleeping currently. So hold it down. So
he's sleeping in my music room.
Did you just move recently, though?
Yeah, we bought a house back in November.
Okay.
Over very close to the Cirque Warehouse.
Ah, very good. So. I just wanted to read this from last week because it was fun. I have been around this earth several times over. I've seen the 7 wonders of the world, but nothing prepared me for the moment I saw the Pegasus unicorn. With the strength of the Amazonian Diana, the agility and prowess of Catwoman, and the mind-blowing awesomeness of Jean Grey, my heart began to weep. But then a trio emerged from out in the distance, with an epic sound so sweet that the mighty Pegasus unicorn went down on one knee out of respect. The names of the trio I cannot recall. All I can remember is that there was a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. And that was Man in the Street last week for our lovely guests.
That's like the first time.
Stay tuned. Now he's Man in the Studio. So
actually, I got a really good story about that, because Tim Bennett was actually judging the Master of the House, and I'm taking pictures, having a good time.
Oh, he didn't know who that was you, did he?
Well, they were congratulating and thanking everybody who took part, and they mentioned my name, and I kind of waved. And then after the show, after the competition, he comes up, he's like, "You're Michael Close." And I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Pegasus Unicorn." I'm like, I'm like, yes. Hi. And he goes, I loved it. That was so much. Thank you so much. And
He's so generous. He's such a nice guy.
Did you get tagged on Facebook? Cool. And then walked off. Yeah. I was elated and embarrassed all at the same time. I'm like, thank you.
We need to get Kaj a Pegasus Unicorn T-shirt, but it's got to be like full on like Lisa Frank style. Like it's got to look like those airbrushed carnival mirrors that you like at the carnival. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm thinking we get him a minivan and we get a Boris Vallejo Pegasus
yeah.
picture on the side.
I was just trying to think of who the artist was that does all the heavily cleavaged graphics.
Boris
heavily cleavage unicorns.
You make that shirt, I will wear it. Yes, absolutely.
What, a big cleavage shirt?
Yes.
Ew.
I want to scrape that portion of my brain out so I never have to think about it again.
I need an ice cream scoop.
I'm going back to sleep.
Now nightmares. You're welcome.
Yes. Eric usually has a lot of better questions than I do, but
well, normally at this point we just derail and just start talking about like.
But Eric usually like brings us back on, and I'm like, thinking of weird stuff to talk about. But,
I wonder if Eric's listening.
No, probably.
Yeah,
if he were, he probably would have called in and like, just put me on. I'll get things back. just put me on.
It's awesome.
So you've got you two have Cuckoo's Nest coming up. In early May.
Oh, that's right.
That is correct.
We're gonna definitely talk about not a production cast swap, but definitely a cast attendance swap is kind of what we're planning. So we're gonna all caravan over and check you guys out. We're hoping you guys will come do the same. And
absolutely.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be really, really fun. Ours is set in a circus sideshow, and we actually have a bearded lady.
Is that the Indian? The Indian's the bearded lady?
That's Tim Burton. He heard that.
Yeah. Chief bearded lady.
That's right. And his the Native American music is dun dun.
Oh, it's not the Wahoo chant from the Cleveland Indians? That'd be great.
Yeah, and we just finished rehearsing at Ken Glover's house for 4 hours and finished the blocking.
Did you stay in the pool the whole time?
Oh, we thought about it. Yeah.
And then you drove for 4 hours to get here.
That's right. And then I drove for 4 hours.
How is
uphill both ways?
I want to throw some positive energy Brandon's way, but how's he doing?
McClanahan is great. He was there tonight. His shoulder's still a little tweaked. but he's a champ, and and he's one of those guys where like we basically had to like duct taped his arm to his torso, or he would continue to use it. Stop it, quit trying to lift things. He had a minor injury on the job, and was unable to attend rehearsal, and so we're just sending out some love and healing wishes to him.
Yep, absolutely. I want to make sure he's taking care of himself too. So, and I trust you're taking care of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I figured
taking care of him.
Yeah. If he doesn't get his act together, I'm going to take care of him.
Yeah, and
swim with the fishes.
And you guys have shows. I have an announcement. I am not in a show right now.
It's inexplicable.
Nice.
With the exception, I just finished my first week doing Tony and Tina's, but
how was that?
I would like to say that Erik Ball just sent me a text message that says no Siamese twins in Pippin. So Erik Ball is listening, and we love you and we miss you. We less than 3 you. So Eric is.
There are Siamese twins in Pippin now.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. There are now.
There are now.
Yeah. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We do have some. Yeah. Oh, did he say no Siamese twins in Pippin? Because
he
got
was
the wrong
asking.
show. We do have them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you got because that's Wendy and Olga.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, it's funny that you say you're not doing a show now, because earlier today I was explaining sort of who the cast of characters was here to Bliss, and I described you as Michael Caine from the 80s, which is you're in everything.
That is the reputation that I've been getting lately, and it's one of those
6 degrees
where
of Glen Heath.
I've been finding a way to embrace it, because I'm not in every show. Obviously, it's not possible.
But yeah, you took Pippin off, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm surprised Andrew hasn't called me and said, somebody's dropped out. We need you to jump in. Because that's usually what happens. That's what happened to Guys and Dolls. Just a couple of weeks before the show went up. But no, I had, had my mind set on, one particular show for the summer, and that hasn't happened, so now it's just like, oh, well, play this route a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm in every show, so. I'm in Pippin, you just don't know it yet.
Yeah. All right. In that case, I got some notes for you.
Well, then you don't know me very well because I won't take them. So
you should start insinuating yourself into every show. You just show up performance night in costume and just slip yourself in.
It's not dancing on that stripper pole. I want my money back.
So Toby is the director?
Yes.
And how is working for him? I've worked with him in other capacities. I've never worked for him as a director. Are you enjoying the process?
I have. I mean, we're
enjoying the process?
We're sort of co-directing. I'm working sort of like an assistant, hitting stuff for him, and I've enjoyed working with him.
Good.
I mean, I don't know him. I mean, I don't know him any more than I know you, but I've really enjoyed it. I think, once again, he's brought some really great ideas and some really great visions to the show that probably nobody else would have thought of. Maybe,
Nice. And I've worked with Toby a couple times. I worked on him, did Next Fall with him last year, and I think he AD'd Sweeney a couple of years ago and things like that. And yeah,
did he direct Next Fall?
Yeah, he did direct Next Fall.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Toby's great to work with. He's very good at. He always has a strong vision, and he's. I think he always has sort of a. Yeah, he's real articulate, like that. So, yeah. No, I mean, he's always able to sort of give you a philosophical basis for what's going on, and I think that's refreshing. So.
Nice.
It's been, I've really liked it. We have similar directing styles, yet very different directing styles, so that's been really exciting, I think. To jump in as, for me, like someone from far away to come and do something like this, it's been really exciting. And just meet him, and he's, I've sort of hurled at him, he was sort of hurled at me, and we were just, it's been, bouncing ideas around. It's been really exciting. I think it's caused a lot of humor to come out. And on the same route, I think we probably, at least as directors, the cast probably doesn't know any of this, but we probably learned something from each other, which is what this stuff is all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since we're not obviously in it for the money.
Yeah. Right.
And it's funny, we have history with Bliss. He got involved because...
I have history with Bliss, too.
Oh.
Doesn't everybody?
Hey, Al.
Yeah, we grew up together in Wyoming and did a whole lot of theater together in the 90s and things like that, also with my wife Trish and with Wendy Luck, who did the puppeteering for this.
Why did you do finger quotations when you said you did a whole lot of theater together in the 90s?
Because it wasn't really the 90s.
Well, I was never really the theater guy. They were Trish and Bliss and Wendy and all these guys were very involved in theater.
Sounds like a children's show. Yeah. Trish and Bliss and Trish and Bliss and Wendy.
And I was just the guitar player that the director of all those shows, he would just bring me in and be like, we're doing Tommy, so you're playing guitar, put together a band, that kind of stuff. So I was never really an actor with those guys, but I was always around. So.
And it was the first show I think we did together where you were actually in it, was when we did Musical Mark Twain.
Oh, and that was like 1990 probably.
Yeah, gazillion years ago.
Yeah.
Mark Twain the musical?
Yeah.
Or Musical Mark Twain?
It was called Musical Mark Twain. It was written by, actually, our mentor, the guy that we learned theater from, met his wife doing that show when they were in school in Texas, and some lady had just written it, and I guess she didn't actually write it. She paid somebody else to write it, and the whole deal. But so but they did it. We did it as a tour, and it had like a little bluegrass band with.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Rick was the guitar player. I was the harmonica player. The teacher was the banjo player, and then we had a washtub bass.
Nice. This town needs some good bluegrass.
That's actually director.
That's a misnomer, I think.
Yeah.
That director, that's kind of his thing, is bluegrass music. So we did that. We did Dark of the Moon.
Robert Bridegroom.
Yeah, Robert Bridegroom. He and I had a bluegrass band for years with.
Bring it back. I need me some bluegrass.
Well, you know what the definition of perfect pitch is, right? When you throw a banjo into a garbage can and it hits an accordion and it doesn't make any noise.
So I obviously.
I like the banjo.
Obviously, my question is going to be, there's an obvious type that goes with a lot of these roles that I think that is not necessarily built in, but has been perpetuated.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the immediate answer is no, because you have a woman, you know,
Right.
playing one of the roles. But otherwise, is your Pippin the golden boy? Is it, you know, did you guys go that route with it?
No, because I'm not in the show. Did we not establish this earlier?
I thought you were the
I
evil
hate
priest.
everything.
Aren't you
That's
playing
right,
the
you're the
devil?
evil
I thought
priest.
you were playing the devil, right?
Yeah, I thought
You
were the
are in a
evil
show
priest
right
and
now.
everything.
You are in a show right now.
Am I?
Tony and Tina's.
Yeah, but that's I'm getting paid for that one. It's totally
Oh,
different than.
yeah. I love the fact that it's become the one you get paid for doesn't count. It doesn't matter. There's nothing artistically gratifying about that.
Oh
so.
no, it's. I didn't answer Michael's questions. It's fun. There's a great group of people in it. So, but back to. I
think of all of them, that's probably the closest to the usual. Is probably Pippin.
Okay.
You know, he's a little Luke Skywalker-y.
Nice.
You know, he's a little. You know.
Respect.
Yeah.
And
It's,
who's that? Who's doing it?
Josh Keating.
Josh Keating.
Who's playing Uncle Owen?
Josh Keating.
Yeah.
And Aunt Beru?
Josh Keating.
Aunt Beru is actually, they're going to burn a log.
Yeah.
And just bring in a burnt log, a charred log.
Who's playing Luke's father?
Toby.
Glenn Heath.
Actually, Luke's father, I guess, would be Gus. Gus Langley is playing Luke's father, Charlemagne. There you go.
So
yeah.
just on a real brief side note here, Eric has been checking in with me via text message, and we are going to do Man on the Street with Erik Ball this episode. So I'd say in about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, what I'd like to do is I figured we could check in with him and he could give us some notes on our performance tonight. So I don't know if you two would care.
I prefer A flat.
If Bliss and Rick would care to be included in receiving some notes.
Oh, you know I would.
Okay, so I had initially said that it would just be the three of us, but it's going to be everyone, Eric. So we anticipate getting some notes from you about our performance.
And Eric, you should already know, I'm not going to take your notes.
And you can actually even score us on a scale of 1 to 10, and we'll see who's going to get the Master of the Curtain Call of the Ball.
Master of the Ball.
The Master of the Ball award for the evening.
And if you happen to be on Facebook right now, feel free to give us a like. If you've got any questions you want to ask Bliss or Rick, feel free, because I'm on right now, and no one else is, even though 75 of my friends are online right now. Why aren't you talking to me? Oh wait, I just
that wasn't
like those,
at all.
like those people are listening. Lysander's listening. We love you, Lysander.
Love you, Lysander.
And we haven't clucked like chickens for him in like 2 weeks.
Oh, it's so true. Yeah. It's so true. Maybe we'll have a group clucking. Not a word, Glenn. Glenn, stop right there. It's radio.
Let's not cheapen this.
No, let's not cheapen this at all. If we do cheapen it, it should be in about 10 minutes when we go to commercial break, and then we'll cheapen as we always do by talking about things that you can't hear on the radio, and you actually have to go back and watch us on Facebook.
So I'm curious about, I know that this is going to be, it's a joint effort between two companies.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
one of
them
is
the bigger cut.
And yeah, and are you guys battling it out?
How do you
is there
cut
going to be a battle
numbers?
royale?
Oh, did I say that?
Is there going to be a bat fight over who's going to get the top bill? I'm kidding, but no, seriously, I'm excited about the fact that your company is relatively new. It's been around for a little while now. But tell us about that. Like, how did that get started? What
It's been around longer. It's been around longer than you think. I mean, it's been.
Yeah.
It's been. Hey, Rick, why don't you talk about your theater?
Sure. South Valley Community Theater. It's my wife started it about 3 years ago, and when we moved here, we've only lived here 3 or 4 years. We moved from Utah, and what it seemed like is when we got here, there was very little. Those were your quotes, Glenn, not mine. But when we moved here, it seemed like there was very little theater in the Henderson area. There's tons of theater around, but not as much in Henderson per se. And Trish had always wanted to start that's my wife, had always wanted to start a children's theater. So she
started having kids.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we figured out what causes it, and so we're never doing that again. But yeah, so she started SVC with the goal of bringing theater specifically to Henderson because it didn't seem like there was that much, and did a lot of classes and improv classes and things like that. And has recently expanded into doing shows not just with kids, with adults. We did, I think Biloxi Blues was the first non-kid show. Yeah, and Glenn was in that, and that was a whole lot of fun. And that also, I believe, was a co-production with RagTag. And then this one.
And I actually had a hand in that too. I was asked to come in and do a little bit of scene work on a couple of spots, and had a lot of fun with it.
It was a great show. So, yeah. Just a wonderful cast and a lot of fun. Yeah, and so we're doing this one, and this one actually isn't in Henderson, so that's painful.
We're really branching out now.
Yeah. Well, we're edgy.
Yeah.
So,
and I saw you guys as was it Apple Tree?
Oh, that's right. We did do Apple Tree. Yeah, and Kaj was in Apple Tree, and Jen Botch and Richie
Cunningham,
Jim Frazier,
Richie, and
Richie Rich.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Richie Frazier, and Taylor Henderson, and Rick Wade was there. I love that guy. Yeah. So but that was fun.
Who gave me and Andrew Wright a shout out?
That was an interesting performance because our accompanist didn't show up, and it's a musical, and so we just went with it, and it was sort of liberating because it could only be so good. When you're doing a musical and your accompanist isn't there, and we just kind of had fun with it, and it was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It honestly was the most fun I've had doing theater in a long time. It was a really good time doing shout-outs to Andy and Sean.
Yeah, it was good fun. So I expect a shout-out in Pippin. I'm just saying.
All right, well,
I love that there was just silence after I said that.
Sure, let's see what we can do,
Nice.
See if Mr. Schwartz can just write up another song.
Sondheim
did it for Assassins, I would just add a song to it.
That's right. That's right.
There's in the score there are these strange directions in the score, and I was reading some like Q&A things with Schwartz, and he was saying, and somebody said, in one of the songs in Pippin, it says in the score, "Don't yawn, Sean."
It says, "Don't yawn."
I'm bored with you. Exactly. Bored with you.
In the music, it says, "Don't yawn, Sean."
But and it says,
which freaked
melted
me.
butter.
Play like melted butter.
Yeah, it says melted butter, and somebody was like, "Did you write melted butter?" And his response was basically like, "Where is that? I did not write melted butter."
I've seen some weird things. There was one where it was just something recently. It might have even been Guys and Dolls, where there was over the notes in the music it said, "These notes are not optional." like, really? Okay.
Well, there's the occasional place in Pippin too in the guitar score where it'll be like some weird riff that doesn't lay naturally on your fingers, and it says or something. You like better.
I have a friend who's a guitarist, he writes awesome music, and it's usually very folky and very simple. And in the middle of this one song, for literally just like 2 measures, all of a sudden it just goes into this insane arpeggio stuff, right? And it's just this 2 measures, and he has on his music that he wrote for it. This is for when it gets released on Guitar Hero.
That's funny.
So that was great. So should we take a quick one here?
Let's take a quick few minute break. Let Eric finish up his notes. I'm gonna play some Guitar Hero because it's 11:30 on a Sunday night, and I can do whatever I want to, except say words I want to. Ding. Yeah. You're listening to Curtain Call with notes from Erik Ball in a few moments. So we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Heidi Blickenstaff from Title of Show. You're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
Playbills and monkeys and monkeys and playbills and monkeys and playbills and monkeys and playbills and monkeys.
A toast to all you caniacs, ever faithful aficionados of fresh, never frozen premium chicken fingers from Raising Cane's. You are keen connoisseurs of Cane's crispy, extra-long crinkle-cut fries, dedicated to the made-fresh daily cane sauce that twirls tongues in a tastefully tangy tango. Caniacs, We toast you all from Raising Cane's.
5 Las Vegas locations. Go to ilovecanes.com.
A word from the cast of Hot in Cleveland.
Want to hear a joke?
Yeah, sure.
What's the #1 killer of women?
Well, you're still here, so that rules out crankiness. And tracksuits.
Heart disease.
But that's a joke?
Oh, no, it's an absolute fact, but the American Heart Association says you can save lives by passing it along to 5 women you love.
Aww.
So I'm starting with 3 I tolerate. That's a joke.
Find out more at goredforwomen.org.
Are you sick and tired of your garage door going up but never coming down, or going down and coming back up on its own? The kids knocking the motion sensors around? Oh, it's a nightmare. Custom Hearth & Door is here to help. They are your one-stop shop for garage doors, garage door openers, and repairs. Great service deals all the time. Also, you can't beat Custom Hearth & Door and not do fireplaces, as they provide high-quality wood-burning and gas-fired fireplaces, fireplace inserts and stoves, chimney systems, and accessories. Custom Hearth features the best brand names in the business, including the LiftMaster garage door openers with their new keyless entry with fingerprint verification, plus products from Real Fire, Craftsman, Fire Magic, and Lennox. Call Custom Hearth & Door at 657-1280. That's 657-1280. Or visit them online at custom-hearth.com. That's custom-hearth.com.
This is Maggie Wheeler, Janice from TV's Friends, and oh my God, you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
Perfect stinger. That was awesome.
Well, what are you going to do when you've got the opportunity to segue perfectly into our caller on the line? And I've got him muted right now because he needed to.
He's said enough.
Well, you told him to give notes to Rick, and so he said, well, I need about 5 more minutes for that. So, but we've got Erik Ball. Well, fine. I'm going to put him on live then. Erik, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Everyone with headsets on can.
Well, Erik, looks like the shoe is on the other foot now.
Well,
that was man in the studio,
I've been criticizing and listening. I'm sitting here taking copious notes, listening very carefully.
About how much fun it was to work with Maggie Wheeler this week.
Oh yeah, Maggie's great. She's great. I have no notes for her.
Well, very good. Can you actually hear?
I can barely hear her.
Okay, well,
hold on 1 second.
I'm
gonna swap seats with Codge. Let him.
Yeah, we've got the man in the street in the studio and the man in the studio at home, something like that. So, please, by all means, you've had a very busy week, and I know you've got a couple of weeks still ahead of you, Erik, prepping for Legally Blonde. But I personally want to again congratulate you on a very successful inaugural Master of the House.
Oh, thank you.
The T-shirts came out great.
As cheesy as this is, it was truly masterful, man. It was well done.
Well, you always know what I say. I say you can tell the true, quality of a performance by their T-shirts and programs. So,
that's right. That's right.
If it's written on toilet paper, head for the lobby right away. I mean, it's just not going to work out.
If the technicians want their T-shirt, it's a success.
That's right. That's a success.
I don't know how many shows I've walked out of and said, man, that program was incredible.
All of Erik Ball's
I was very, very thrilled. I think the show went very, very well. It showcased 5 amazing schools here in the Valley, and I think more importantly, it kind of it brought them together under one roof so that they could collaborate, cheer each other on, and kind of, it's the only time that they can actually be in the same room and celebrate one another. I mean, everyone's going to go see their individual schools' productions, but to kind of put a little bit of a competitive twist to it and hopefully bring some money to their programs at the same time and generate some awareness at the same time for the unbelievable talent in the high school realm of the
still being
community.
an incredibly gracious crowd and cheering for each other and supporting each other. It was really neat. It's not very often that you get to see the start of a tradition, and that was really neat.
Well, I'm very glad. And we had Maggie Wheeler there as our celebrity guest MC, and we had Oh What a Night, the tributes to Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. They opened the show for us, and it was just fantastic. I mean, I really owe it all to Cheryl Rudiger and the Rudy Foundation and a very gracious set of directors and their cast for a terrific evening. So I hope this is a tradition we can look forward to every year.
Now let me ask real quick, Eric, the groups that performed, did they do scenes? Because Cheryl posted something, and I want to make sure. Was it the shows Newsies, Little Women, Oklahoma, Addams Family, Beauty and the Beast? Were those the performance pieces that were done?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What we do is we ask the school to bring a 10 to 12 minute piece from a show. Now it can be like a variety of musical numbers and scenes kind of mashed up into one, offering, or it could be one school just brought one giant musical number from the show.
Okay.
It can be any kind of, offering sampling that you want. And, and then it's supposed to be kind of a round robin like atmosphere, so you can only bring props and set pieces that you can carry on and off stage by one actor, no wheels, no dragging. It has to be carried on and off stage.
And last actor standing, right?
Say it again?
Last actor standing, kind of like Battle Royale?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So I have two quick questions before we get notes, Eric. One is, we couldn't remember one of the judges' names, so could you tell us the judges' names that participated in Master of the House?
Mark David Chapman.
Tyler Evans, Michael Chapman, Tim Bennett, and Candy Schneider.
Excellent. And then my other question for you is, how soon
How soon will your stool sample be?
How soon can schools start getting involved for next year? How do they go about it if they're excited about it and they want to know how to get involved? What do they do?
Give me 1 second, Sean. I'm writing down another note to enunciate.
My guess, Master of the House Showcase.com, is that going to be the continuing?
Yeah, it's going to be up and running. It's up and running right now. And it's probably going to take us a little while to kind of let the dust settle on this event before we kind of, reinvent it for next year. But we are hoping to get a good jump start on it soon. But, as soon as anybody's interested, probably the quickest way right now until we kind of prepare the website for next year's is to just contact Cheryl or myself directly, and we'll make sure that we get you a spot reserved. We're hoping to get at least double the amount of schools that we had this year, because being the first time, the inaugural event, we found that there was an awful lot of schools that wanted to participate. Meadows, Bishop Gorman, Palo Verde, Green Valley, they all wanted to do it, but they had prom on Saturday, and prom trumps everything, I'm sorry, in high school. That's all there is to it. And so, there's lots of, of thought that's going to be put into when to do it next year, because we want to try to make it as accessible as possible to everybody who wants to do it. So.
Right.
Nice. All right. Well, I think it's time.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Let me say one more thing before we move on to the
this isn't your show this week.
No, listen. You're grounded. No. No, but here's something that's very exciting. Cheryl Rudiger and I are partnering again with Motion Properties. Motion Properties is a real estate agency here in town, and they're wonderfully kind people. Jared White over at Motion Properties. And this September, we're doing an event at Faith Lutheran again, and it's called Above the Belt.
We talked about this because we're efficient.
Yeah.
Go on, please continue.
Yeah, no.
Michael renamed it Below the Belt, sorry.
No, that's why he called it Above the Belt. It's freaking amazing what it's going to be. It's very similar in structure to what Master of the House was. However, it's an individual competition. If you think of American Idol, it's a singing competition, and it's for high school age students. And what we're going to have is we're going to have a 4-day event, and each day, take the first day, for instance, we're going to have the event at Faith, and it's going to be on several different locations on campus, and each location is the equivalent to the American Idol cities, that they go to audition all these hordes of people. And we're going to have guest judges in each location, and we're going to whittle that group down to a smaller group, and it's going to whittle down to another group until we have a group of 10 to 12 hopefuls that are the finalists, and each time you audition and you get whittled down even more, there's additional adjudication that's going to be offered to the students, so they will get critical feedback. That's what it's all about, education as well as the opportunity. And then we'll have a show, just like Master of the House, a showcase that's going to showcase these 12 individuals. We'll have judges and panels that will offer feedback, a la American Idol. And we will eventually have an element that will include an audience vote and, other elements like that, real fun, competitive elements. And then we'll have one above-the-belt champion. And here's kind of what's cool about that. They get a $2,500 scholarship. We're going to try to get them a song cut on iTunes so they can have a single, an original single that's written by them. And this is the coolest part. Master of the House, they get a blazer, and we're going to put a patch. If you win the Master of the House, you get your patch put on the blazer, and then every year we represent the blazer to the winning team. So it's kind of like our version of a gypsy robe,
Or the Master's green jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another reason why we want the blazer, because it's kind of playing off the Master's jacket. But the thing we're going to do for Above the Belt, we're making that like a championship belt, like a wrestling belt. That's the Above the Belt championship belt. So the person will be able to obtain the championship belt and keep it for an entire year. And then they'll come back the following year and be a judge for the final of Above the Belt 2014. So nice. It's going to be the equivalent to the musical theater competition we did with Master of the House, but it's going to be for high school vocalists, and that's like any genre. You can do country, gospel, contemporary pop, you can do Broadway, you can do anything you want. And it's going to be a vocal competition. So that's the one we're focusing on and zeroing in on now, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
That's fantastic.
And that's AboveTheBeltLV.com. That's that website.
Nice. All right, Eric, we can take it.
You ready for your notes? I got to go into the other room now. When I talk, I pace. That's why I have to wear a seatbelt in the studio.
And you realize that we are still live on air, so the notes that you may have for me,
here's what I have for Glenn.
Please use big boy words.
Well, let's start with signs. Okay. I put here, I was noticing that you need to project a little more. Okay, don't drop the words at the ends of your sentences. It weakens your character.
Are you just taking old notes from old shows and reusing them? That's... what up?
Don't hesitate so much in your approach, okay? Make a clear choice and deliver your thoughts strong, okay?
I was going to... But then...
No, don't think about it. Just do it.
All right,
Okay, now for Bliss. Now here's the thing. Your performance, despite its brevity and youthful nature, is extremely complex, okay? It's like a lot of things at once. It's funny, it's sweet, it's disturbing, it's violent, it's fundamentally sad.
Like a good wine.
And you haven't even...
Yeah, and while I have not met you, I can feel through your mere verbal performance a kind of a sense of struggle. So I think you're onto something. I think I need you to investigate that more in the next 5-10 minutes.
Keep exploring, Bliss. Keep exploring.
And let me take the camera off of Bliss while he explores.
What's that? What did you say? I'm sorry.
I was mumbling.
I'm taking my pants
word.
That was complex.
All right, we're ready. He's got those notes written down. Please continue.
Okay, Rick, are you chewing gum?
No, I'm not.
Okay, don't sound like you're chewing gum.
He was having a coughing fit earlier on, and I thought about maybe muting him, and then
I need you to dip into your character struggle more. Not a small dip. We're talking a big league chew type of dip. Okay? I need you to really invest. Blow a big bubble of intention.
Blow a big bubble of intention. I'm getting that tattooed somewhere on my body.
Right now.
Okay, now, Sean.
Yes, sir.
A character only moves on stage if they're being pulled towards something or pushed away from something. I need you to start experimenting with movement.
Oh, he was hiding behind the corner the whole time.
How's this? Is this good? Is what I'm doing now good? Is this good?
Like I said, I need you to keep experimenting.
Okay. I thank you.
Okay.
I thank you for my notes, sir.
It's Kaj.
Yes.
Is Michael there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Michael, how do you feel about your performance tonight?
I feel very good about it, Mr. Ball. I think I probably could have given you a little bit more as far as the
Do you
performance
feel like
goes.
you were taking some chances?
Yes, I was taking chances, making some risks, doing some open-ended exploring of the character, but I feel pretty good. What do you think about it?
Well, see, ultimately what we're trying to do here with Curtain Call is we're trying to tell a good story, okay? So I don't want you to get frustrated or caught up in the technicalities of trying to create this world for your character. I need you to just tell me a good story.
Okay.
Go,
Okay?
right
so
now.
focus in on that, and
Translation,
and I think,
you're better in the
and
street.
by the way, for everybody involved in the studio, these notes are not optional.
Oh, very, very, very nice. Very nice.
I will
Very
take these
nice.
notes to heart, yes.
Well played, sir. We thank you very much. Man on the street, Erik Ball.
Way to hit me above and below the belt, sir.
For the rest of the show.
Very good.
We miss you. We love you, buddy. And I'm
All
sure
right.
he'll be back with us next week. Yeah.
For the rest of the show.
I'm gonna have to go. But guys, Pippin, I am so sorry I couldn't meet you in person. I really, really appreciate what you're doing. I'm hearing all kinds of good things about the show, and I wish you guys a million broken legs, of course.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Erik, we will see you soon, and you get yourself some sleep tonight, sir.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Have a
Take
good
it easy,
night.
guys.
All right. Bye, Erik. And that will never happen again.
I forgot to bring a pencil. I didn't write my note down.
Actually, it'll be up on Facebook, so you can just go back and review those notes repeatedly as you're exploring things.
I'll meaningfully hold up my smartphone so you think I'm typing it in there.
Yeah. So from now on, Kaj is just going to tell stories. Just
it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Stop there. Stop now.
I have such a complex because that is something I get as a note all the time.
Oh, even during theater?
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah,
I didn't
absolutely.
hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Love you, kisses, mean it.
Well, no, and for me, there's the process where as I'm developing a character, I'm not focused so much on projecting during the rehearsals, simply because I understand that the directors out there needs to hear what I'm doing, but there's a lot of times where I'm just kind of internalizing things and dropping my intentions because I'm still discovering here, sorry, I'm still discovering here, for those of you watching.
Are you exploring movement right now?
So for Erik to give me those notes is very hurtful. Because it's a very sensitive thing.
That's awesome. And he picked them specifically, I'm sure.
No, well, I'm sure he had them left over from Little Shop. Or he just talked to every director I've ever worked with, and he's like, if you had to give Glenn one note, what would it be?
Did I give you that note? What did I give you as notes? Do I give notes? I don't even know. What am I talking about right now? Who am I? I'm going back to sleep.
Well, while you're taking a nap,
it's like each of us took everybody else's, like we all rotated one role, like you're not finishing stories. You sound like you're chewing gum.
Yeah.
I have
Are you
three
chewing
of my,
gum?
I have
Well,
three
don't sound
actors
like
that
you're
I've
chewing gum, but
directed.
have a big wad of chew.
I'm being serious. I have 3 actors that I've directed now. What are my notes? Like now I'm all self-conscious about what kind of notes I give and how my...
I think you do a lot more of like the upfront, like sit down and go like, everybody, okay, here's what I want you guys to think about. Do you remember the first time that you broke your favorite toy? All right, let's take that. Let's take that. No. All right, now think about it. What was the toy? What was the toy, Koch? What did you think?
Was my Snoopy.
That was a great toy. Snoopy was a great toy. Glenn, what toy was it?
I don't know how that happened. Oh, God,
that was perfect. It was like the show's ending. That was a great toy. And we're out.
Well, Erik does this every once in a while. He moves the mouse that's near the computer, and it's a very sensitive mouse, so I must have just hit the button for I think Erik was playing on a note that you would have given to be more discover your movement. Because you are very purposeful in your direction, that it don't do something because you feel as an actor you need to do it. Do it because you're being pushed to do it or being pulled away from something. Don't just do it because your hands need to move and you feel like that is acting. Sorry.
Well, I appreciate that. Just so you know, Erik wanted me to chime in and let you know that it is a choice to not give Glenn notes.
It is optional.
Oh, is it my time to chime in now?
I don't know.
Usually the one that Sean gives me, I think it's an old added one that he's given a lot of people, but I've known him probably the longest, so this is the one I usually get. Okay, that was good. Could you take the suck out and then put something better better than sucking into your put? Thank you. Appreciate it, Koch.
It's my favorite note that I've ever been given by a director ever.
Again,
and it's
now
been
better.
and it's funny because it's moved its way through the community, because I've told the story a number of times, and I'll hear someone and they'll be like, my director said this, and I'm like, that's the note that I got, that's my story. And it was Joe Coogan, and Joe Coogan told me, he said, can you do me a favor and take the suck out and put good back in where the suck used to be? And that was my entire note, and I loved it. It's in my
I always like to tell them, okay, now let's try acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the variation, and I've used this one for improvisation workshops that I do. Is like, in improvisation, you can make good choices, and you can make better choices. Let's make a better choice.
Yeah, that's one of my things. That's like, there's those go-to, like when your actor does something you don't want to be negative, and I just go, it's a choice. It's a choice. Let's keep exploring. It's a choice. Yeah, it's definitely a choice.
Go explore. Yeah, go explore. Go get your shine box and go explore.
Explore some movement. That's right.
Why don't you go explore some professional acting?
You know, and
coaches.
I think it's commendable that you guys, you're definitely giving your actresses some opportunities to explore, other career options. So you got, the polls brought in. So.
It's on-the-job training. Too.
Have you ever thought about doing a career
And
that didn't
good
involve
exercise.
We're just about finishing up, so if you're just tuning in now, hoping to catch some late-night sports scores, you're listening to Curtain Call right now. Erik Ball is on assignment at home. But we've got Bliss Ragsdale and Rick Wade been chit-chatting with us, mostly about production of Pippin that's going to be happening on April 12th and 13th at 8 p.m. at the Shane O'Neill Studio at 4970 Arville, Suite 100. That's right over there by the Orleans. Tickets are $15 in advance. You can get them at Pippin SVC Theater with the re.eventbrite, BRITE.com, or you can find the public event on Facebook. You can also find the link from Curtain Call. Say hi.
And I feel like we're really reaching into the depth of what the production is. I mean, we've had a lot of time to really exacerbate the potential for questions on Pippin. So I just wanted to know, what is Pippin, if you pronounce it, what is it pronounced backwards, and how does that affect your production?
I don't think you can say that on the radio.
Nipip?
Nipip. And how does that affect the production?
Well,
I love the fact that
on the 14th we'll be doing the show backwards.
Excellent.
Basically, there's this troupe that Pippin's been an actor in, and then at the very end he leaves.
That's awesome. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's a very complex ending.
Yeah.
Or beginning, as it were.
Audience members
It's Pippin meets Memento.
Pimento.
It begins. That's awesome. So who's your favorite?
I'd like to say you
set
that up for me, Sean. Just please say that you set that up for me. Just
oh
say
yes,
that.
of course I did. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, it says G.I. Joe time?
Yeah, it was a long way to get there. It started with Pippin backwards, and so I was thinking ahead on that. Scheming. I love the fact that sometimes, like, I think the joke's going to be really funny, and I go, and how does that affect your production? And everybody in the studio stares at me.
That's not
that didn't
cool,
work
dude.
out at all. Yeah. You're like, my mom spelled her name backwards, jerk.
We do that, but MTI would sue us.
Fair enough.
ITM.
Fair enough. Mitt? Tim? I'm confused. So yeah, favorite G.I. Joe character? Anyone?
I never had the smaller ones. I always had those larger ones that had the fuzz on their head.
The 12-inch ones.
And you pull the back and he says something racist about Vietnamese people. Because I was raised in the early 70s, so.
Any of them you could get a firecracker inside and blow them up. That's
nice.
Just like Pippin, what we're doing.
Yeah,
like Pippin.
And that brings us full circle back to the exploding dancers.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, things always come back full circle anyways on this show because we're usually talking in circles. But again, this is a benefit production for Golden Rainbow, that joint production with Ragtag Entertainment and South Valley Community Theater. Great cast, and some performers that are usually kind of in and out of a lot of different productions. So having this group together, I don't think this group's been together in. I mean, Wendy and Olga have done some things together, but I'm trying to think. Same with Gus, but just a bunch of different performers.
Does Gus take his shirt off?
He did tonight.
He does during rehearsal.
Perfect.
That's signature now.
It's not a show if Gus doesn't take his shirt off. But seriously though, like, do you guys have any other things on the plate that you're thinking about in the near or distant future? Is there like, are you taking this one show at a time, or do you have plans for stuff coming up?
Well, SVC has a program going right now, Youth Theater. I think it's called Youth Theater for the Heart. I hope I got it correct, but it's an ongoing thing. They're doing fundraising for it right now, but where they have kids come in and they're going to write and direct and act in their own show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and it's a year-long thing. Right now, they're doing fundraising for it, but that's their big project that they have.
Well, how can people get in touch with you to help or to get involved in that project?
Well, they can call 702.
We got Trisha's number right here.
I was just about to give it out. Yeah, they can call 702-481-6919, or gosh, I don't know the email address for SVC, so send it to riktrish@yahoo.com. That's Rick Trish at yahoo.com, and we'd be happy to give you any information. There's also an SVC Theater Facebook page. So,
do you guys still have the website going on?
I believe so. We retained Wade Online Marketing to
did you now?
to update the website. That is our 14-year-old son. He's got his own online marketing.
Well, it's listed as svctheater.webs.com, but I'm pretty sure it will go through straight as SVC Theater with the RE on it. And so there's your son has put a big ad for pole dancing school right on the front page of SVC Theater. Good for you, David.
Respect, David.
That's right, because Pippin, again, we have stripper poles in there that were provided very kindly by polefitnessstudio.com.
And what else do we have coming up? Well, like as we're wrapping up here, do you want to talk about up-and-coming events with other stuff?
Well, I do know that next week, and you can certainly go to Las Vegas Little Theater's webpage. They have their auditions, I believe, next Tuesday and Wednesday for their summer musical production of Xanadu, which I've seen a bootleg production of, and it is pretty funny. And then How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying has their auditions, I think, Wednesday and Thursday, or overlaps Tuesday and Wednesday. You can find more information, I believe, at supersummertheater.org. There's also the events page on Facebook. Keith Dotson directing the second show. I believe Music Man is fully cast now, which is the first show out at the ranch. And then pretty soon there should be some auditions coming up for the last two shows, which are Legally Blonde, directed by Phil Shelburne, and the producers directed by Joe Hines.
We've got Pippin upcoming.
Pippin's upcoming. Yeah,
there's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. First 2 weekends in May. It's Friday and Saturday.
Dealer's Choice is opening, I believe, next Friday at the Onyx Theater. One of the productions by Poor Richard's Players.
And check out their podcast, LV Taps, lvtaps.com, and theatervine.com as well is THEATER. Theatervine.com is another resource for finding out what's going on in the community as well.
Yeah.
Lots of fun stuff coming up.
The LV Taps, they tend to put a list up on Facebook once a week with all the upcoming auditions, so you can certainly take a look at there. I was trying to find it earlier, but I was playing Angry Birds and got distracted.
And the most recent podcast is featuring a review from our very own, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Wade.
Beef.
And
done it 2 weeks in a row now.
Nice. And I'm also in that episode, which actually launched this afternoon. I just saw it on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook and you like their Facebook page, they have a link to their podcast as well, so you can get there a couple of different ways. But it's up, and you can listen to it now. So and find out about the other events.
Yeah, and this week's episode is called the Sean Critchfield episode.
And I talked a bit about Curtain Call. So Curtain Call listeners, we talked about the fact that we would really be excited to see their listeners listening to us and vice versa.
Well,
so,
I want them, to come in as guests and us to go in on guests and kind of have like that Marvel DC, crossover and see which of the superheroes die.
Batman versus Hulk.
Yeah, Bat Fight. Bat Fight once again.
I'll take Carolyn on.
Right on.
I would put my money on Carolyn.
I would too.
Just
but
curb her.
those Canadians are fun.
She will throw a piano at you.
Nice.
All right. It's a little Casio. I'm not scared of a digitized little Casio. If she can throw a baby grand at me, by all means.
Carolyn, say you're listening.
But all I know is that at the last cabaret that Sandra Huntsman did at the Onyx, she was intimidated by my grass skirt and coconut boobs. So.
Who wouldn't be? Let's be honest.
Everyone.
I don't think the show can continue after talking about.
Well, I don't think it can continue either, simply because we are just about at the stroke of midnight, and some of us turned into pumpkins at that point. So.
Beef turned into pumpkin.
Beef. We're all going to turn into beef. I want to thank Bliss and Rick for hanging out for the entire duration.
Yeah,
because
thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Because these Sunday nights without alcohol can be difficult.
What do you mean with that?
Yeah. I didn't bring any this week because I was actually having to be responsible.
And pinch hitting, Kaj coming in to pinch hit as our third wheel for tonight, which is awesome.
Always a pleasure to have you guys.
And always welcome if there's a chair.
And our fantastic Erik Ball, who joined us on location tonight, which was awesome.
Who's had a very busy week and deserves a much-needed rest and some time with his lovely wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's too bad we don't have time to give him notes.
Oh,
that's right.
No.
That's right.
I've been typing them up. Don't worry, he's got plenty of notes. In any case, for Eric and the rest of us, this is Glenn Heath. Enjoy the rest of your evening and support local theater. This is Curtain Call, and we're gone. See you later.